Don't make these mistakes when heading to Skull Cavern for treasure chest levels. You want to give yourself the best chance at whatever loot you're hoping for, maybe an auto patter. And maybe you've waited for the fortune teller to say it's a good luck day to increase your chances. You stocked up with staircases, bombs, and your best plus luck food and drink. I'm going to show you 5 mistakes I made so you can try to avoid them. First, floors 100, 200, 300 will always have treasure chest, so it's tempting to jump into holes to get there faster, but I've had treasure chest floors appear back to back. If I had jumped into a hole on the previous level, I would have skipped right past the next chest. And one time, I jumped into a hole on level 197 and landed on 201. So that was a big bummer because I went right past 2 guaranteed treasure chests. So I stopped jumping in holes. It just seems easier not to. So if you want to max out your treasure chest levels, I would advise just taking the stairs. And I did see a tip once that said to break rocks on treasure chest floors for a higher chance of finding holes. And that did seem to be the case because I would find holes, but then after I realized you can get levels back to back with treasure chests, I stopped doing that. Always just taking the stairs. Another mistake I made is going too fast with staircases. Muscle memory just kicks in after a bunch of floors that aren't treasure chest levels. And then all of a sudden, you realize you just passed a treasure chest. So that's a big bummer. Just try to pay attention and don't get too into the pattern of putting down your staircases so you don't miss those levels or skip by them. Because that could have been the chest that had the auto petter you've been hoping to get. And then there's mistakes with food and drinks. So you might have gone in with your magic rock candy, which has plus 5 luck. But then you get a little low on health. And then you eat something else. And then it overrides your luck buff. You might end up with plus defense or whatever you had in your bag. If it had a buff on it, it's going to overwrite that. And the same thing can happen with drink. But if you have food at the Calico Festival from their chef there, those buffs do not get overwritten. They just stay and stack with whatever you're eating, else you're eating or drinking. And the magic rock candy is not going to last all day if you're there in the morning. So make sure you have a lucky lunch or some other plus luck food to use once it wears off to keep your luck as high as possible throughout your entire time in Skull Cavern. The mistake I've made is so I'm a little bit low in health and I'm getting ready to eat and I go to the next level, but then instead of clicking on the food to eat, I end up clicking on the ladder and then I confirm leave mine without thinking, and then suddenly I'm back at the Skull Cavern entrance. That's a fast way to lose your progress since the cavern resets. Back to level 1. If you were just about to hit level 300, which has 3 treasure chests, well, that's just too bad. It makes me sad when that happens, especially if I put in a lot of time to acquiring the items to have the plus luck. Another big mistake to make is dying. So once I was collecting ores with bombs, trying to see if a staircase would open, but also wanting to get some ore while I was in the cavern anyway. And then I got overwhelmed with monsters and I didn't have enough skill or quick thinking. I kind of panicked and then I ended up dead in Kirby's clinic, and that was a huge bummer. I think it'd been a while since I died, so I didn't lose any items, but it was still a bummer to have that run end. And I also learned during this adventure that only floors 100, 200, 300 will always have the treasure chest. If the pattern did not continue with 400 or 500. Like I thought maybe once I got to 400, there'd be 4 chests and 500, 5 chests. But when I finally made it there, like I had enough scare cases to get down that far. There was they were just like regular levels. They weren't even treasure chest levels. They were just whatever level that appeared, like any other level you could encounter. I hope sharing my mistakes helps you avoid them and to get as many treasure chests as possible. I know it can take a while to get the auto petter if you don't have Joja Mart where you can just buy them. So it took me a while to get auto petters, and that was one of the main reasons why I was going to Skull Cavern so much. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you found this helpful, or you can subscribe if you dislike me. I have lots of cats in my farm. Have a great day.